Well, hey folks, Fat Guy Flies RC. All right, time for the second flight of my early Father's Day present from my wonderful camera precious and kids. Take it up and have some fun with second time pat her in the air. All right, remember, don't grab her in the front of these triangles of the wings here because that's a weak point, as I have found that out. Okay. I already took them off. I'm now flying her clean, absolutely no ordnance at all, and reset the timer for 4 minutes. Because I found that 3.5 was too conservative, and that 4 minutes I came back at like 30%. Only using the canards for pitch control. Flying in my high rates, timer set for 4 minutes. Got a Sokokin 4000 6S in there. Kind of about a ½ an inch back from the battery opening. All right.
Starting to fun over.
All right. Here we go.
Tucked away.
Take it up. That's where she peters out. Plane just naturally wants to high alpha.
Time remaining 3 minutes.
I'm gonna make a high alpha pass here. Yeah, definitely a high alpha machine. Got her set up by the book as far as the throws on the elevator and the canards go. But definitely not a rocket ship.
Time remaining 2 minutes.
No, not enough power to snap roll. A little bit. I'll turn back towards us.
Gear is down.
Actually, a very easy jet to fly. Put them canards down, and they'll act like flaps for you. All right. Take off one more time.
1 minute. Gear is tucked away. is down. 30 seconds.
I gotta tell you, this is a good flying jet.
20 seconds. 10. Motor is secure.
All right,
Safe to touch.
10 seconds left on a 4-minute timer. So far, like I said, I've noticed she does need more power. She needs more power, but she has adequate power. Honestly, leave all the ordnance off. She flies much better with no ordnance. Okay, you're going to want your canards to be down just about a millimeter or so from neutral, and you're going to want your elevons to be down about 2 millimeters from completely level. All right. Other than that's by the book. That's according to the book. All right. Because she naturally wants to high alpha anyways, and if you make them canards completely level with the fuse, then she's going to do an aggressive high alpha, and you're going to, you don't want to stall. So, anyways, let's check the battery. But she's a good flying plane once she gets up to speed. She just gotta get her up and get her up to speed. We'll go over rates and all that kind of good jazz back in the man cave once we get back home and we've flown her everything. All right. 34%. So 4 minutes is perfect for this. Does have an XT90, and I'm using an adapter. I don't like using an adapter, but I'm pretty bad at welding or soldering, so to be honest with you, I'm not good at soldering. The canards are a must with this plane. All right, folks, well, there you go. Careful how you pick her up. The front part of the wing is a weak point. But let me get you a little bit more of a close-up of this plane. It's a good-looking plane. It's a good flying plane. Is she a rocket ship and a powerhouse? No. Does she fly scaling adequately? Definitely. Very easy to fly. If you've flown any deltas at all, you'll enjoy this, and you'll immediately think she needs more power. But she definitely looks good. She flies scale, and I am very, very pleased. Thank you, family, for this early Father's Day present. Folks, thank you so much for watching. God bless y'all. Don't forget, faith, family, and friends, keep them in the sky, and God is good. We'll see you later. Bye-bye. Well, hey, folks, this is Fat Guy Flies RC coming to you from the Fat Guy Flies RC studio. All right, this is the all-new, just recently released FLYFANS 70mm Czech Republic JAS-39 Gripen. I want to say L30. I bet you in the video, a flight video, I bet you I call it an L39. It's a JAS-39 Gripen. All right. It's in the Czech Republic livery. Now, absolutely beautiful plane. I have the canards set up for pitch only, not roll. Okay. Let me go ahead and go over the specs of the plane real quick. 70mm obviously has canards, has elevon set up, and that's elevon A set up in your if you're using Spectrum, just so you know. Have a KM model afterburner in there, and I've given her a clear coat. All right, let's go over the rates, my flying rates, not my AS3X rates, but my flying rates. And the rates apply and are trimmed with the canards also. The ailerons are 100% throws with 30% expo. The elevator are also 100%, but with 30% expo, and they trim with the canards. And the rudder is 100% throws, but with 40% expo. All right. Now, obviously I don't have flaps, so I don't have a flap setting. In my AS3X, I have an AR631 installed. Okay. My gains on roll, pitch, and yaw are 40, 50, and 60. Okay. Priority on roll, pitch, and yaw are all at 140. Heading I did nothing with. Stop lock is at 35 on roll, pitch, and yaw. And release rate, which I didn't mess with, 55, 55, and 75 on roll, pitch, and yaw. All right, one-time gains adjustment, no nose wheel gyro. So really, the AS3X gains are at the default that the AS3X Plus comes in. I flew around with her, did 3 flights with her, including the maiden, and she was great. Make sure that on your canards here, when you're setting it up, these are actually, if you look, it's slightly down, about one or 2 millimeters down. That's where you want that to be. Also, that's your default trim position. Also, if you look at the end of the aileron or elevators, they're ever so slightly down, maybe 1 millimeter, 2 millimeters down. You want that, otherwise she's going to pitch up on you. Believe it or not, she'll pitch up. If you don't do this with the canards, she's going to really rise on you an awful lot and want to have more of a higher alpha type stance. And y'all watched how I flew, and by the time I had the 3rd flight in, she was flying around high alpha all the time. So I can just imagine if these canards were perfectly level and neutral flight, that she'd be really maybe almost uncontrollably high alpha. So good flying plane. Let me show you my inside setup. Battery's back here in the mid. Now, I've got the ordnance on. Don't fly the ordnance. She doesn't have enough power. The ordnance to me are just for looks. But see where I've got the battery? Okay, that's a 4,000. Pretty much take it right, maybe almost a finger length width in from the very front, and maybe 4 inches from the back, 3 inches from the back. XT90. That's the AR631, and that's my KM model afterburner in there. Folks, I want to tell you, getting the CG on this thing, trying to find a number to give you in the manual is impossible. There is no, they just give you a picture. And they tell you in the manual that CG is directly at the base of the battery hatch. So basically, you've got these hard wing plastic connectors go straight out where this decal is, where this panel line, maybe you can see it, where that panel line ends right there. Same thing over here. Where that ends, that's where the CG point is. So, putting it right there, and she still wants to be a little nose heavy on me, or seems to be a little nose heavy. Let me get from underneath here. And there's really no, and she still wanted a high alpha on me. That's pretty good. That's actually pretty good right there. That's not too bad. Now, got the gear down. I got all the ordnance down, or ordnance on her. Like I said, don't fly with the ordnance, okay? She just doesn't have enough power. The best way to describe it, she flies scale and she has adequate power. Gear, pretty good. Stellar gear. I mean, it's not super fast, but definitely not a slouch. And I had I've had some pretty good landings with this thing. This is not a hard plane to fly. It is not hard at all to fly. I went ahead and glued my nose cone on because the magnet they used was a little, it had a hard time. It would stay in there, but yet I found myself keep having to press it in, and I just said the heck with it. And the rear exhaust tube sticks out far enough and the plane is level enough, I just stand her on her exhaust tube in the corner and she does just fine like that. Now, the only problem with that is that exhaust tube is made of nothing but foam, no plastic. Okay, just as long as they don't not move it around too much. Put your little piece of packing tape. They didn't put any kind of protection back here. And I had a couple where my landings were coming in and I know I caught that tail. So make sure you put a little piece of tape to protect that. And she And some of these decals, like you can see right up in here, not quite sticking. They didn't do a really good job of making sure these decals are stuck on here. Like right there is pretty obvious. But give yourself a good clear coat. Now I used, oh yeah, don't grab it from up here. Up here in this section here. These before or forward of these wing joints, because or wing hard points, because that's just, there's not much connected and you could easily break that foam if you grabbed it too hard. Use a product that I like to use. It's perfectly foam safe, and this is what I used on this, and this is just mid-wax polyacrylic in the clear gloss. It gives a nice protection to the foam, and then it's like a clear coat on a paint job on a car, basically. And about once a year, coat it again. Just nice, one good solid coat's all you really need. Okay, it just protects it, and it makes it look good. Okay, the canards I did have, y'all watched the build video. The canards I did have a hard time getting them to line up and get those screws to line up. There was a little bit of plastic material in the screw channels, but I got that out, and then she screwed in just fine, which is common. Without a battery, she will rock back on that tank, so don't store her with a tank on unless you're going to stand her up on a nose like that. But let's see, we talked about CG, we talked about the rates I flew in, we talked about things to look out for with a canard and your Elevon setup. She's a good flying plane. She flew better. My very second and last flight, I flew with absolutely no ordnance on at all, and I had a fairly light 4,000, and that was the best flight all. So really, 3600 6S or a 4000 6S that's on the light side that has at least a 40C discharge, and you'll be okay. Had no problem with getting a little over 4 minutes of flight time, and came back at 20-30% on the battery, so that's fine. Really, I can't think of much else to say. She'll want a naturally high alpha on you, so be aware of that, and that's actually a good thing because this is a Death Dorito. It's a good looking plane, it's a good flying plane, and this is a plane I was surprised by my kids. Both my kids and my wife got together, and I was looking at it, they saw me looking online. I said, look, it's got eyeballs on the canards. And I kept going on and on about that. And next thing I know, I'm getting a delivery. And they said, that's your early Father's Day present. I'm like, well, okay. I truly am a blessed man. I really am. All right, folks, well, there you go. That is the FLYFANS 70mm JAS-39 in the Czech Republic livery. Mean looking, good looking plane, good flying plane. If you're looking for a good 70 for your first Delta wing with the canards, this is a great choice. This is a great choice for that. And there you go. Thank you so much for watching. God bless y'all, folks. Don't forget, faith, family, and friends, God is good. Let's keep them in the air. And that's the gripping. Looks mean, isn't it? Bye.